to my channel. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this peplum top, and for that I'm going to be using this fabric. You might need about 1.5 yards of fabric. So let's get started. The first thing I did is to fold the fabric into two, and then you're going to measure your shoulder to waist. That's your half length. So for me, I'm working with 17. Then I'm going to add extra 1 inch for seam allowance. So that's why I have 18 here. Then the next thing you're going to do is to check the width. So the width I'm working with is the widest part of your upper body, that is your bust. So the bust I'm working with is about 42 inches. 42 divided by 4, so that's about 10.5. So 10.5 plus extra 1 inch, that's 11.5. So that's the width I'm working with here. So bust divided by 4 plus 1, and width your shoulder to waist plus 1. So I'm going to cut out this square right now. So guys, what I did is the first square that I cut out, I placed it on the fabric again, folded into two, and left about 1.5 for my zip allowance. So now I'll start shaping the bodies. So the first thing you're going to do is so this is my back panel. As you can see, is about 1.5 inches wider than the front panel. My front panel ends here. So this is for the zip allowance. So the first thing I'm going to do is to go over here on the shoulder. As you can see, this is where I'm going to mark it so you guys can see. So this is where my front body starts. So at the very point, the starting point here, you're going to place your tape in, and then you're going to measure your shoulder measurement out. So for me, I'm working with 16 divided by 2, that's 8. So I'm going to mark 8 here, and then mark my armhole, which is 20 divided by 2. So I'm going to come down here, which is 10, and then I'm going to mark it here, give it a curve for my armhole. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to come down on the shoulder slant about 1 inch here, and then mark about 3 inches on your neckline. So I'm making it 3 by 3, 3 inches of width and 3 inches of length. So I'm going to come down also by 3 inches, and then I'm going to give it a curve here. And then I'm also going to mark about 1 inch down here for the back neckline. So also connect that here. So as you can see, my back neckline is 1 inch depth, and then the front neckline is about 3 inches. So the next thing I'm going to do is this 1 inch that you came down here, you're going to connect it to this here, and this is for your shoulder slant. So you're going to connect these two together. So what you're going to do next after that is to check this is your chest line, right? So I'm using my this armhole line for my chest line. So what you're going to do now is to check your bust measurement divided by 4. So remember, mine is 42, and divided by 4, that's going to be 10.5. So I'm going to add extra 1 inch to it, which is 11.5. And remember, that was the initial width that we used in cutting out this fabric here. So 11.5 of width. So for the waist measurement, I'm working with 30. So the width, at the waistline, what I'm going to do now is the waist measurement, that's round your waist divided by 4. So for me, I'm working with 9. So 9 divided by 4 is going to be 9. I'm working with 36. So the 36 divided by 4 is 9. So plus extra 2 inches is 11. So what you're going to do is the extra 2 inches is 1 inch for darting, and then extra 1 inch for your seam allowance. So but for the bust is only 1 inch. So what you're going to do, for me, I'm working with 11 here. So you're going to connect these two together from this point. For some people, the difference might be much, like your difference might be about 10. So then you will see the slant even more visible. For me here, the difference is not much, so you won't notice the slant here. So I'm just going to connect mine and cut it out. Just what I'm cutting will not be much, but not most times what you would cut might look something like this, right? Your slant will look something like this. So I'm just going to cut this here, because mine is this way, because the waist to bust ratio is not that much, so that's why. So I'm going to cut this here, and then cut out the armhole. So guys, after that, what I'm going to do is to come down here by about 4 inches, right? Or no, I'm going to come down here about 2.5 inches, right? So I'm going to mark it. You can make yours 2 inches if you don't want it visible at all, but I'm going to make mine 2.5. That's this is going to be an opening for the thigh, but if you don't want yours visible at all, you can stop about 2 inches up here. So I'm going to use bias to finish this up. So basically I'm going to go to the sewing machine. This is my front panel. I'm going to place one of my fabrics this way, like this pieces here. Place it this way, sew it all the way on this stitch here, sew it all the way down, come back here, split it open and use it to fold the neckline. So use it to finish up this use it as my facing to finish up this neckline here. So after that, that's how I'm going to finish up this part. So the next thing I'm going to do now is this is my front panel. I'm going to separate, I've separated it from the back panel, so I'm going to split it open for the zip allowance, because remember it was cut on a folded fabric. So I'm splitting it open now. So this is my 2 back panels. For my front panel, what I'm going to do now is on this armhole line, I'm going to come in. So the length here is 9 inches. I'm going to come in at the center. That's half of this 9 inches. That's by 4.5. I'm going to mark it here, and then go in by 0.5 or 0.75, and then I'm going to connect it. If you have a curved ruler, that's even better. Connect it in here, and then I'm going to cut it out also. So as you can see, I've cut that out. So I'm going to set it aside now. The next thing I'm going to do is to cut out the bottom flay. So guys, this is what I'm using for the bottom flay. I'm using just gather for it. So the length I'm using for it here is just your shoulder to waist measurement. So you're going to check your shoulder to waist measurement, and then you're also going to check the length of the length of the top. So for me, the length of the top is 24 and my shoulder to waist measurement is 17. So I subtracted the 17 from the 24, and what I have left is about 7 inches, right? So the 7 inches, I added 1.5 to it. 1 inch for folding this end here, and then half an inch for attaching it to the bottom of the peplum. So that's how I got my length here, and my length here is 8.5. So, and after folding and using of the seam allowance, my 1.5 seam allowance, I'm going to be left with 7. So, and that's what I need for the length. So as you can see, I cut as much as I would need. So this is what it looks like. I have this much here, and then I also have this one extra here. So maybe what you're going to do is just use your waist measurement times 3 or times 2.5. It depends on, that's round your waist times 2, or it depends on how gathered you want it to be. So for me, I'm using about round my waist times 2.5. So that's how I got the width of this fabric here. So after that, we also cut the neckline. So guys, this is my sleeve, and what I'm going to do now is to first mark the sleeve cap, and then I cut 2 of these here, and the width I'm working with is about 10 inches, which is my armhole. 20 divided by 2, that's 10. So that's why I have width of 10 here. And then as you can see, it's folded into 2. So one sleeve here, and then the second sleeve also folded into 2. So the width opened up is 20. That's the width this way is 20, which is around my armhole. But remember, if you fold 20 into 2, one side will now be 10. So that's why it's this way. So I have 2 of it here. So it depends on what you want to use as your length. For me, I'm using about 7.5 for my length, and then I added 1.5 inches to it. So that's why I have 9 inches here, and this 1.5 is for my seam allowance, folding the end, and half an inch for attaching the shoulder to the main bodice of the dress. So what I'm going to do now is to come down here by 4 inches for my sleeve cap, and then from here I'm going to draw out my so guys, I've gone ahead and drawn my sleeve here. So just like an S shape, I've drawn the sleeve in, and then you're going to measure what your sleeve width, your bicep side, round your bicep what it is, and then you're going to add extra 1 inch to it and connect it to your to this point here. So that's what you're going to do, and after that you're going to start cutting it out. So guys, this is my sleeve here. I've cut it out. So I'm going to go ahead and that's my top. So basically how you're going to do that is, so guys, the next thing you're going to check is your breast point. So the breast point I'm working with is about 8 inches divided by 2 is 4. So plus half an inch is 4.5. So I'm going to mark it here. And then the next thing I'm going to do is to come down from here to about 11 inches. So this is going to be my dart here. So I'm going to mark it down here. So mark half an inch on each side, half an inch on each side, and then connect it down here, connect it down here. So what I'm going to do when I go to sew it now is to just pinch this out on this side and also try to transfer the dart on the other side, pinch it out and make a stitch all the way like an angle up to this point here. So this is my dart. I'm also going to do the same for the back, but for the back is going to go up about 8 inches here. So mine is going to go up about from the shoulder to about 8 inches or about 7 inches here. So that's how I'm going to do it for the back. So guys, the width, this is for the tie. The width I'm working with is 5 inches of width, so that when I fold it here, I'll use half an inch for the seam allowance, just like I did for this one. So as you can see, I sewed the corners. So guys, as you can see, I sewed the corners down to and stopped somewhere here. And as you can see, you might want to leave maybe about 12 inches unsewed. So I'm going to use this now to flip this inside out. I'm going to flip out this belt. So you're going to sew from one corner to the other and stop maybe about 12 inches or 15 inches. It depends on you. And then you're going to flip the belt out. And the length I'm using here is about 34. So you just measure round the corner of your neck down. That's half of your neck, half of the center of your neck, right? This is your neckline. This is your neck. This is your... Wait, let me show you. So this is your head, this is your neck at the back. So you find the center halfway of your back, and then you're going to measure it round, coming to your neck. So this is your neck. You're going to measure it round. No, this is your shoulder. So you're going to measure from half of the center of your neck round to one side of your neck, and then you're going to measure how long you want the belt to be. So that's what you're going to do. It's going to be the same for the other side. So this is the center of your back. You're going to place your tape, measure around the neck coming down this way, and then you're going to measure how long you want the strap to be. So that's basically it. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and joined mine. This is what it looks like. This is the bottom flare here. So this is what I was trying to explain before. So this is the neckline. I've sewn the neckline, covered, made a top stitch on top of this here just to hold it down. So what I was saying is so this is going to be the center of your neck, right? So you're going to measure all the way around of your neck, come back to this center, and then add whatever you want the length of this the strap to be. So for me, that's about 34 inches on one side. So you're going to do one side and then you're going to do the other side. So you're going to have 2 ropes here. And remember, at the back, you also have your zip allowance. So that's why I said leave about 12 or 15 inches here. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take the side that you've not sewn on. You're going to fold it half an inch on this end. Fold half an inch on this end and flip it and like close it together. You might want to go and iron this if you're not used to doing it. So you might want to go and iron it. So what you're going to do is half an inch on each side, close it all, and then you're going to take this here, take one side of the end of the zip, right? You're going to take this here, put it inside, right? Put it inside this way, and then stitch it down. So you're going to make a stitch all the way down. with this still inside, right? You're going to flip it inside this way all the way to the end here. So getting to this point here, you might find out that maybe the 12 inches that you left open is too much. What you're going to do is still flip in this inside, like close it inside still, and just make a top stitch on top to cover up whatever is left at this end here. So you're going to cover it and just make it double stitch, and that's going to be it on this side. Do the same on the other side. And then when you're done, you're now going to put your zip at the back. So the zip goes up to the neckline with this necktie. Your zip is going to go up to there. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead and put in the band. You see, this is where the band comes off at the front. So after fixing, you might need about 10 inches to go around the neckline, including the zip allowance. And then you're going to sew on top, just sew on top to cover up any excess space that you left here. And that's it. So this is the back. Your zip goes up to the top of the neckline and goes down to where the peplum starts. So this is it here. This is the front. You see why I said you might need about 2 inches, or if you want, you can make yours 2.5, just so that when you tie the tie at the neck, it covers up the space. So it covers up this 2 inches or whatever space you decide to leave here, because you wouldn't want when you tie it, you still have this opening here visible. Or if you want, you could still make yours more than that. So that's basically it. So this is what we have here, and this is the top here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.